Hi, and thanks for joining me on Asai Rasai and checking out this video. I'm making Sri Lankan egg hoppers today, and this is the quick method. I'll show you how to ferment the batter in under 1 hour. I'm using store-bought rice flour. This is the pack that just says rice flour. It's not unroasted or roasted or anything. It's just plain old rice flour. Now, this is supposed to be a can of coconut milk. I was expecting to put about half a can of coconut milk, but it seems to be solidified and it looks more like coconut cream. So I scooped out 2 big tablespoons of the coconut cream and I have put it in here. I'm adding warm water to make the batter so it doesn't make much of a difference. Add the liquid a little at a time and then stir very well. Mix it up like this so that the liquid is absorbed before you add more. I used about 300 ml of the water because my coconut milk was solid, but you could use like half a can of liquid coconut milk and then make up the difference with the water. At this point, before fermenting, the batter can be thick. It can always be thinned down after it has fermented. But if the batter becomes too thin and then you ferment it, it's going to be hard to add more flour at that point and reverse the consistency. So go easy on the water if you're not sure and you want to change the quantities. You can. This is a very flexible recipe. You certainly can change the quantities. Now this recipe makes about 10 to 12 hoppers. If you want to make more hoppers, just increase the quantity of flour and water only. The yeast and the coconut milk can stay the same. And keep watching. I will show you how to achieve the right consistency for the batter so that even if you adjust the quantities, you will know that you're on the right track. So 21 grams of yeast, and I added the whole sachet into this. Mix in the yeast as best you can. It's not going to completely dissolve in the batter at this point, but once it has fermented, it will be all dissolved and smooth and everything will be fine. This is how you would test the consistency of the batter. So just pour it down like this, and it should pour in a single continuous stream. If the stream breaks up or becomes, lumpy as it drips, that means your batter is not the right consistency, and this has to be taken care of before you start fermenting it. And you'll probably need to add more flour or thin it down with more milk or water. It's just a simple fix. So this batter was fermenting outside in direct sunlight for 50 minutes, and this is what it looks like. So when your hopper batter has properly fermented, this is how it should look. And even if it's not this recipe, any hopper batter at any time of the year, even in the winter time, when the batter takes even longer to ferment, you should wait for the batter to look like this, and then you will know that it is ready. It is properly fermented. I'm going to slow down the video so that you can see how thick it is. Stir it for about a minute or two and then test the batter again to check the consistency. Like pour it like that and see if it pours down in a single stream. I'm also going to be adding an egg into the batter. So at this point, I'm not going to thin it down with any liquid. We'll see how it is after we add the egg. Even after adding the egg, it should still be able to do this. It should drip in a continuous stream. So that's why this is such an important step to note to get the batter consistency right. That's why I keep repeating it and emphasizing it so much. And now add some salt to your taste. After stirring the salt, taste it and then adjust to your liking. I think I added about half to about maybe a teaspoon of salt. So stir it well and then let's add the egg. So I'm beating 2 eggs. I'll use some of this beaten egg for the batter and then the rest of it I will use for egg hoppers. Usually the serving quantity per person is 1 or maximum 2 egg hoppers. So by beating up the eggs and spreading them over 5 or 6 hoppers, you can actually avoid eating too many eggs in one meal. In a traditional kitchen, you would sometimes see that they have a bundle made out of rag to grease the hopper pan. So I'm making a bundle as well today. Let me quickly show you how I'm going to do it. I wasn't planning on putting this up in the video, but let me just show you. So just fold it lengthwise and then roll it up like this. And then put that in the other piece and just roll it up. Tie the 2 ends or you could just use a rubber band and you secure the two like that, the two sides, and this is ready to use. You could also use a piece of paper towel, just fold it several times and use it to grease the pan. The only thing is that the paper towel breaks down, so after a few times of using it, you will find, you know, the lint keeps getting on the pan and the paper towel is just doesn't hold up very well. But in the village, they'll use this forever. I mean, they'll you know, wash it and dry it and rebundle it and use it every time they make hoppers. I have some salt and pepper ready for the egg hoppers. I also didn't need to use any more liquid to thin down or adjust the batter after adding the eggs. So it's ready to go now. Let's make hoppers. So to make the egg hoppers, add just enough batter to coat the pan evenly. There shouldn't be anything too much extra that you would have a big bump in the middle of the hopper. So twirl the pan to take the batter all around it and coat the pan evenly. You don't have to go all the way up to the edge of the pan, but maybe like this much is enough. And then pour the egg right in the middle of the hopper. And this is going to create the thickest part of your hopper, and it has to be cooked through. So that's why I said if there's any excess batter in the hopper, it's going to drip down to the center and also create a big bump in addition to the egg. So close the pan and let this cook. And the time can vary, but on average it's about 5 to 7 minutes per hopper. And that's just a rough estimate. It can depend on a lot of factors like the heat source or the type of stovetop. See, on my stovetop, the pan doesn't even touch the heating element all around. It's just a small area that's actually in contact with the heating element. Now, in a gas stove, you would have the flame in direct contact with the pan all around. So it'll actually cook about a minute or two faster than on an electric stovetop. Keep checking on the hopper occasionally. You have to open and take a peek and see how it's doing. My hopper pan doesn't have a vent on the lid, so it tends to build up condensation. So every time I open it, it releases some of that steam. So when you beat the eggs, either to pour in the batter or into your hopper, don't add any salt. This is the only time that you're adding the salt and pepper. It's after the hopper is done. Just sprinkle it on the top. And then use a knife or some kind of tool to help you bring out the hopper. Sometimes there are spots that are stuck to the pan, and a knife or something like that would easily loosen it up. Some visual signs that the hopper is ready is when it pulls away from the pan. You also might get some browning on the edges, and the egg will not be runny, it will be firm. After a few minutes of making the hoppers, your pan is going to become too hot, even if you have maintained low to medium-low heat. So it's time to cool the pan. Mine has become too hot that it started smoking. Another sign is that the batter would just flow down the pan and become a blob in the middle of the pan. And that's also a classic sign that your pan is too hot. So it's time to reduce the heat and cool down the pan a bit. And this hopper is now ready. So to cool the pan, lower the heat even further. Take the pan off the heat for about 5 minutes, or just rinse it in tap water for about 5 or 6 seconds and start making hoppers again on a lower heat setting. And remember to grease the pan and stir the batter for each hopper. For this hopper, I'm adding 1 whole egg right in the middle. I'm just going to crack it in the center, and that's pretty much the difference between the 2 egg hoppers. One is the beaten egg and one is the whole egg. By the looks of it, and I can tell you already that this hopper is going to look lopsided, and that's okay. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. It's all in the way that you hold the pan and twirl it, and then you know how you coat the pan with the batter, because sometimes the batter would reach perfectly around and sometimes it doesn't. So, and that just adds to the charm of handmade food. So this egg hopper is now ready. If you notice, these hoppers are white. It doesn't have that brown edge like in my basic hoppers recipe. You can check that video out as well. So that's because I didn't add sugar into this batter, but if you want, add about a teaspoon of sugar for this quantity of batter at the time that you're putting the yeast. So now you know how easy it is to make hoppers. You can make the regular plain hoppers, or you could make the egg hoppers with the same batter. All you need is just a little time to ferment, and you can do that in under 1 hour. If you're new to Sri Lankan food, you're probably wondering how we have this. So hoppers are had during breakfast or dinner and usually served with a pol sambal or a molded fish sambal, a sini sambal, a dal curry, maybe a chicken or fish curry. And the plain hoppers we also have with jam, with treacle, with any syrup, maybe some butter and sugar. So there's so many ways that you can have it. It all depends on personal preference. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, share and subscribe to Asai Rasai. Thanks for watching.